checking their inputs, I suppose. Alright, and there we go. And there we go. This will be a set of potentially 3 games today. So Ikaru and Doublestop are going to face off in a best of 3. Whoever wins race 1 will have, of course, a lead, but you do need to win 2 races today to kick your opponent out of the tournament and advance to round 2. So they really have to pull out their best game to try and keep going. And with that, we see as they start the game by mashing and mashing and mashing all the way through the intro. Doublestop had a little bit of a run in one of the blue guys there. Sure did not, but both had a good run on the Bs. So that's a good start. Ooh, Doublestop. Oh my god, Doublestop takes a double hit from that passive B. Gosh dang it. Hype, get hype. That is a 1 minute lead for Ikaru to start the game. Get going, everyone. Oh boy. Doublestop must be feeling really confident today. He's just like, I'm gonna give this kid a head start and just die to this B here. I'm sure that's what he was thinking right there. And yeah, things like that can happen. Now, usually the intro is not the most deadliest of stages, but sometimes. Indeed, and that's why you do best of 3. Although a minute is a big lead to have at the start, but well, let's be fair here, it's not like the game is over. We do also name this category the anything can go wrong category, since 100% in this game is extremely safe, but any percent is very deadly. Although at this point in the intro, you're well within an identity crisis, thinking it's Mario for a second there. We have a 2:12 grab for Ikaru. Probably not his best grab time ever, but stop having a bit of issues with that last car there. But because it's the anything can go wrong category, it means that there is so much that can still go on in this game that it could still swap around. But of course, this does mean that Ikaru will go into Penguin with a healthy lead. And I'm not sure if he will be watching the stream for himself or not, but I'm sure he will be happy to know if he is, that he can sit comfortable for a little bit at least. But not too much, because I'm very sure that Doublestop is not gonna let go of him pretty soon. He'll make sure to catch up and pull out his best. And that we see that the Zero is now also giving the little pep talk to Doublestop. Come on, man! I know you got killed in the intro, and that's not supposed to happen, but you know, if you actually get good now, you can still beat the final boss of this game. Probably wasn't a very good start, but hey. Oh boy. I actually did not look what happened to the right, but I assume that because I saw the password screen that Doublestop also selected Octopus. Yeah. Wow. Just to make sure that Ikaru has plenty of lead to start the game. Just to make sure. Meanwhile, Ikaru has picked up his dash boots, so he will pick up some speed and is now able to run a little bit ahead of Doublestop, making sure that he runs away as far as possible before he can start catching up. Yeah, as Fats already said, in any percent you generally pick up anything you want, but yeah, you don't have to pick up anything. You can just pick up 0 items, you can pick up all the items, because 100% is also any percent. So it kind of depends on the player. Yeah. Some people will take some safety items, others will choose to go low percent and pick up absolutely nothing. but yeah, it just kind of depends on what the runners feel comfortable with. Carry here, now into the Penguin fight. Penguin, quite a heavy RNG boss. Always gives a lot of people trouble. You always have to react to what he does. You don't really have a lead in this fight. That is a very favorable pattern, actually, where Penguin just sat there and did nothing. But unfortunately, Kara kept shooting green shots. They do 2 damage instead of blue shots, so that would deal 3. And as Hikaru leaves the Penguin fight, 2-Stop has just entered. Hikaru now moving on to Kuwanger. Now the first 4 Mavericks are always the same, and the final 4, there could be a little bit of route difference between runners, but yeah, that's simply because you can fit in Mehmet anywhere that you want, and yeah, so 2-Stop deals with Penguin. Will now also be on his way to Kuwanger. Well, Hikaru is already climbing up that tower on the inside. Be reaching the outside climb fairly soon. Once he hits his little break time on the elevator. Yeah, the boots and the buster upgrade are forced upgrades, but anything else is optional. Yes, I am drunk, but only sleep drunk, I think. And yeah, Saberwolf, you can in fact watch the stream of your opponent. This is not a randomizer, the game is completely set. So whether you watch your opponent or not is your own choice, since it won't really make a difference for what you're doing, except that you might make yourself nervous seeing if you're ahead or behind, I suppose. So that's an option itself. And yeah, there is a difference between the English and Japanese versions, and that is the text. So probably you figured that, but that's actually the difference, and that's the only thing. So I believe there's about 10 seconds difference in text over the course of the game. Now, Hikaru has arrived at Kuwanger, and 2-Stop apparently is doing a very, very nice maneuver here to catch up. Hikaru dropped the dance with Kuwanger, so needs to spend his time hopping around this room. Ooh, gets grabbed. Ooh. Careful, my boy, careful. Meanwhile, 2-Stop has started this fight and has initiated the dance. And Hikaru should be fine now. Oh boy. Alright. There is actually, as far as I know, there is in fact a randomizer that was made of the Mega Man X game. However, I never played it, so I'm not entirely sure of everything that was swapped around in there. I do believe that the boss weaknesses were randomized, as well as upgrades that you could get from the capsules and whatnot. But I have to be entirely honest that I never played it and it never became a big thing, so I'm not really sure. Couldn't tell you too well. And we see here Hikaru is picking up the armor in the Chameleon stage, so it will take some time killing RT55J, or Green Biker Dad, whatever you prefer. And in this time, actually, this guarantees him a lot of safety for the late game when he will be fighting Sigma. However, that does mean that 2-Stop can quite easily catch up and pass him by in and go to the end of the chameleon stage. And you will also notice that Ikaru now has no stones or rocks falling from the ceiling, because it's actually RT55J that smashes them down from up on the top. So. Meanwhile, we see on the right 2-stop with the extremely difficult chameleon fight. We should probably congratulate him on hitting that fight, because that was terribly hard. And as he ports out of there, we see Ikaru also mentally preparing as he goes through this door for the most difficult boss fight in the entire game. Thank God he brought the armor to make sure he can get through it. Okay, look, apparently Fatso in chat knows a bit more about the randomizer. And meanwhile, as we see Chameleon explode on your left, 2-stop has already made his way into the Eagle stage, needs to deal with the platforms. Does the death kick, very nice. Death kick, very famous, or rather infamous. It can save you the whole whoop in 20 frames, but it can cost you 30 seconds. What a man doesn't do to optimize the speed games, right? And we see now that 2-stop is about an entire stage ahead of Ikaru, as we see Eagle pop up on the screen while Ikaru is just climbing onto the first elevator. Adding some lag to his game there as he holds on to a charge, a bit awkward. And nice, we have a good Eagle for 2-stop. I was looking at Ikaru for a moment because he was going for the sub-tank, but I don't think I saw a lot of dives over on 2-stop side, so should actually pay attention to that. It's fairly important to see what kind of RNG people get, since RNG is part of this game, whether you like it or not. If two runners are very tight in the skill level, it can actually make the difference. And that carries at the end of the Eagle stage, and 2-stop already on his way to Mandrill. So I do believe that the 2-stop runs with Mammoth 8, but I'm not sure. But we'll see soon enough. Executing I was gonna say a nice hallway, as he just about took another bong there. And now he's onto the most difficult and annoying mid-boss of the entire game. It's Thunder Slimer, everybody. He's about as annoying as he looks. And laggy. On your left, we see Eagle exploding, meaning that Ikaru can also make his way into the next stage. And keeps up fairly well to 2-stop. He's not falling behind by extreme crazy amounts. It was really the fact that he seemed to have a little bit of issues first couple stages, and then, well, picking up the armor costs you so much time and trade for that late game insurance. Yeah, 2-stop also has 31 something PB. I'd have to check up the leaderboards for that. I'm not entirely sure what Ikaru's PB is. I did not have or make the time before the race to look those up. And 2-stop actually beats his nemesis here, probably shaking in his boots as he took on the true end boss of the game. As he did game over to Mandrill once during this tournament. So I bet he's really happy that he got through that now. And as I actually think of it, we see Mammoth right now coming up on Ikaru. Like, Mammoth going in as the 5th boss for Ikaru. Mammoth itself, not really a difficult boss. Attacks are not very dangerous. And on top of that, he's really fat, so it's really easy to hit him. Well, I mean, Spark Manual is not that hard. I'm just kinda... You know, I'm actually a runner too, so I know a lot of the people that play in this tournament, and you know, I really kind of bothered to stop about the fact that he game over to Mandrill at some point during this tournament. Kind of teasing him. I don't think he listens into the commentary, but you know, he might listen back to it later. Oh look, Care Bear actually, meanwhile, went and looked at the PBs of the runners. Though I'm not sure, that could be their starting PBs. Perhaps they have PB'd already since the tournament started as well. So actually the two runners pretty much take almost the same route, just that they swapped Chameleon, not Chameleon, Mandrill and Mammoth around. Oh my gosh, Ikaru getting bothered by the RNG of Thunder Slimer, who was trying his damn hardest to juke all of the shots. Oh, no, please, ask anything you want, I don't mind replying to them. But yeah, I know that it might be a little bit weird if I think like, whoa, 2-stop, doing some really cool stuff there. Makes a really cool move with that fire wave as he jumps off the cart and uses the cart's speed in his jump to catch back up. However, he did drop his cart for that. That was quite nice and funny to see. You can sort of stack movement speeds on top of each other, so he used the minecart speed and then dashed on top of it to create X with super high speed. And then he jumped off and hovered in the air for a second, and then just pushed in the direction where he jumped again, where the minecart was throwing him, and used all that speed to fly forward at the speed of light. And here we see 2-stop being a memer as he grabs the heart in Dillo's stage, and then throws another boomerang to grab the heart from his first boomerang, and then he just dashes away and despawns the whole damn thing. Well, okay. Actually, most people on Thunder Slimer will be using Storm Eagle's weapon, so, yeah. Tornado and Boomerang and Sea Sting are very often used, but the actual weakness of Thunder Slimer is in fact, and I think it was 2-stop that told me this, is Rolling Shield. No, he did not get that. I know you might have not seen that because it went really fast, and if I had not been paying attention to his side of the stream, I would not have seen it either. But he yeah. 2-stop is a little bit of a troll. Like, he may have seen that his PB is a ways ahead of Ikaru's, and then he decides rather often to mess around a little bit and do these weirdo strats where he comes up with just any random things. And that's what we see him doing right there. I mean, just grabbing a heart and then like tossing another boomerang out. Ow! And then he actually rips to pieces, pepperoni pizza pieces, as he messes around a little bit too much and drops into a spike pit. This is not a 100% race, this is an any percent race. It does seem that we've lost Ikaru for a moment, but I'm sure he will be back soon. And here we see the very powerful Yuta-Boros. What did the Boros? I didn't see anything. And Doublestop actually going into Octopus now, which will be his final boss for his 8 maps. Let's see what he gets. You don't really want to get the energy drains because they cost you a lot of time. And you can actually jump into them and mash out, then you get the risk of the infinite combo where you cannot leave. And we get a 20-29 kill on Octopus for Doublestop's 8 map time. And yes, actually the Yuta-Boros, you may remember from playing this game as a kid or something, that it's really annoying to deal with them, and it's taking a while to kill them and whatnot. But in the speedrun, honestly, at least you still see it here on any percent, because frankly said, when playing 100%, you do not even see it spawn on your screen at all. It will be killed underground. No, just to update you guys, Ikaru has not forfeit from the race. I'm just going to assume that he is having a technical issue, perhaps with his internet, because I did not see him disconnect nor forfeit from the SRL race. And I'm sure if he pops up, we'll see it pretty soon. Doublestop probably wanted to try another really swaggy strat there, and instead just messed up the file skip. Oh! And on your left, we see Ikaru returning in the middle of the Dillo stage. We're gonna reset the timer. And Doublestop, meanwhile, gets caged by a file. Was a little bit too far to the right, so file puts him in his place. Oh. Apparently Ikaru is time warping as he went from halfway to the Dillo stage to the entrance of the boss. Regaming in slideshows now. And that was a very quick fight from Doublestop. If you actually blinked your eyes more than once, you probably missed it. Thank God no one blinks their eyes more than once. Or well, at least most people don't. And there we go. Ikaru is apparently back into the game. Has not given up, although, well, he is... Well, he has to finish Dillo and still do the entirety of Octopus, so... And Doublestop goes for the Kuwanger skip, does not get a drop. Rolling shield on File, yeah, it is a weakness of File, but I do believe that File is one of those bosses with multiple weaknesses. I remember when I was a child, I did homing torpedo on him, and that worked fine as well. And I do believe that there is at least one other weapon that also deals more damage, but rolling shield is most efficient. It does a really big hitbox, and File is quite a quick little guy. That we see Ikaru moving on. He will do his best to finish the run, I guess, even though I suppose he just had some technical issues. So meanwhile, on your right, we see Doublestop going for a spider. And we all know what we're looking for here. We want to see some really hot, damageless spider fights. Which can get pretty difficult if you get a lot of baby spiders. Doublestop doing well so far. Just needs like one more hit. Get some more babies. Get some more and he finishes Spider damageless. What a god. Quick tweet about it. And with that, Sigma 1 is over for 2-stop, and Ikaru is in fact on his final boss in the 8 maps. Octopus actually quite annoying to fight with all those missiles flying around most of the time. But he does get that with a time of, I believe, 25:35, assuming that they start at the same time and going by 2-stop's timer. For a second I wondered what 2-stop was going to do with that tornado he had ready. Ooh, that was a really good penguin so far. Oh, gets a couple slides at the end of it. Just to make sure he doesn't get too good RNG. However, to be fair right now, Ikaru still has a chance at coming back in this game. But, not gonna lie, it's gonna take 2-stop quite a ways of messing up for that to happen. We'd probably have to look at something like a game over on D-Rex or Rangda to really get him back into the game. Or, well, good eagle for 2-stop. I believe that wasn't a no dive. Yeah, Wolf Sigma is indeed very dangerous. You don't automatically assume people will die to him, but it's always very possible. And Ikaru looks like he will get the quick skip. Yeah, he does. Doublestop had some nice RNG from the eyes there, getting a triple blue eye, in fact. And, Ikaru is struggling a little bit with Vile, taking 2 bonks. It's really worth noting that Ikaru having the armor right now is very important. Because we did see that he took a couple hits from Vile. I can tell you, Vile hits extremely hard. If he would not have had his armor, he would be dead right now. It would be only a minor setback, as the checkpoint is right before that door that he passed through, but still, he doesn't want to be set behind further than he is right now. And on your right, we have most difficult fight in the game, take number 2. I demand that everyone spams Resident Sleeper during this fight every freaking time. We're doing. You don't have to listen to me, I'm not your mom. And Ikaru taking it safe there on Kuwanger, just jumping around on the walls, making sure that he's not taking a single hit, just shooting out all of the homing torpedoes, making sure that Kuwanger does not get into him. He has half HP, so he might actually look to pick up some HP before he goes into the spider fight. Oh, there we go. That's a big drop from one of the flyers. Stop now. Actually, going to Octo. Octo is possibly the biggest source of RNG in Sigma 3, in fact. Oop, Ikaru having a little bit of issues there on his first hit to Spider. The only other boss that could give you really the worst RNG possible in a Sigma tree is Dillo, but since you should not be fighting him as there is a skip. Oh, Ikaru, be careful. I do think he has a sub tank. Does he not have a sub tank? He did pick up a sub tank, right? Or am I stupid? I mean, it's very possible that I'm stupid, but one more hit. One more hit. Oh god, I don't like it when Spider does that. Oh my god. Okay, got it. Nice. Meanwhile, two-stop dealing with Mammoth. Kaboom! Bye goes the Mammoth. The timer on the left is not going because Ikaru had some technical issues in the middle of the race and disconnected for a little bit. But we do still have a timer running through the SRL chat. Ikaru, well, taking alternative route. Oh, two-stop gets smashed by D-Rex. Now, D-Rex is a pretty dangerous boss. He can give you a very forgiving pattern. However, sometimes he goes absolutely nuts and just trashes your face and sends you right back to the trash can. It's like, yep, you're scrap metal now. And the unfortunate part of that is then usually that you already use your torpedoes. Oh, two-stop. Ooh, gosh. If that had been a kill, I'm not sure if he has any lives left. If that had killed him again, he would have been in potentially a lot of trouble. Oh, you care with that? Oh, no max strats. Oh, come on, man. Give us the hype. Give the people what they want. What's some max strats? So as you all know, max strats are never really optimized. The only point where you can actually legit use it is a penguin stage to get on the top route. So two-stop now, actually a fair ways ahead. Sigma 4 is also actually the only stage where if you game over, taking a game over is actually better than just dying. Because in this stage you have these straight up boss fights and you need to refill your ammo. So if you game over here, then it's actually better, so you don't have to spend time farming on the bottom of the stage. And it's worth to note that two-stop is a fairly low amount of HP right now, meaning that if Jedi Sigma touches him, or Wolf Sigma manages to land some kind of attack on him, the man is a goner. So we'll just have to see what happens there if he makes it. Does he not make it? Tell. Maybe I can tell, but maybe I can't. So, oh, nice. The eye is all going down, nose exploding, writing that down. Good job for Ikaru. Right claw visiting two-stop, that's always dangerous. Again. Something you never want to see the right claw coming over. There we go! Official time on Razebot for two-stop. 33:57 for game number 1. This will give him a 1-0 lead over Ikaru. Good job on him. And now we can all cheer for Ikaru as he goes for his Dillo skip and the entire Sigma tree and looks to finish his run. Yeah, they will actually play game 2 after this. We cannot really afford to split people's sets up right now, as all of the games for round 1 of the elimination brackets have to be played by the end of this week. So people do have to get a move on right now. And speaking of getting a move on, Ikaru, kaboom! Explodes that chameleon. Poor little lizard. And now makes his way to the gorilla. Now, for people who are less used to watching MMX, you might not see it so obvious here, but we actually do 2 hits per freeze animation on man roll. You can hit him again before he unfreezes and then hit him to do a new freeze. It's a bit faster than just always freeze locking over and over, as you probably would have done if you played this as a child. Or an adult that was a beginner. Weekly races for this game have been there at some point. However, every 6 months or so, people suddenly hop on this and go, "Hey, are we gonna do weeklies?" And then they do weeklies once every 6 months, something like that. So yes, there are weeklies. Just check in about 3 months from now, I'm sure you'll find them. We are not good at math here. But I mean, if you really want to race people, if you get on the MMX Discord, I'm sure you can find some people to play. There's plenty of people who are actively running the game, practicing, doing runs, and it would definitely make some time to play a race with you. I mean, pretty much all the people in the community are really, really nice, so most of us. Almost everyone's really. Almost. Also, if you want to actually learn the game, we do have tutorials for both any percent and 100%. However, as we've said many times during this tournament, any percent is very brutal of a category, where 100% is very forgiving of a category for a speedrun. So if you do play Mega Man X, and if you're fairly new to speedrunning even, it's definitely a good idea to start out on 100%. You will get all of the hard tanks, all of the sub-tanks. You will have all of the weapons, including the Hadoken. Okay, you have all the weapons in 90% too, but you get the Hadoken to one-shot bosses, and it's a lot more forgiving because you can actually take hits. Whereas here in 90%, you're low on HP. Sure, you can take some safety, but it's a lot more risky, and all of your mistakes will count 2-3 times harder. That was actually a rather funny fight for Ikaru as he hopped over and the dog just walked behind him. It looked a bit like a man and his dog playing in the backyard with the dog running behind you when you have a ball to play fetch or something. Seemed in with Jedi Sigma. Got a little bit of the normal pattern that you would be on, but it's quite okay. And he goes into the final Sigma fight with quite a lot of HP, and I do assume he still has a sub-tank, so... someone mentioned the PBs, I believe it was a 31... let's say it's a 31 something for Doublestop, and it's 35 something for Ikaru. So Doublestop in terms of PB is definitely in favor here. However, since this is the anything can happen tournament, there we go. There's that sub tank. I knew he had one. Didn't use that spider earlier, but I guess I was really stubborn about keeping it for the final Sigma fight. There we go. Ikaru finishes this race with a time of about 41 minutes. I had to put the dot time in the SRL chat. I do kind of... Oh, okay. He just popped back up in the SRL chat and did I say 31? Sorry, I meant 41. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, so his official race bot time for this race will be a 41:43. We will need to see with the runners now if they want to take a little break before continuing on round number 2, or if they will go back to planning straight away. Yeah, excuse me, I'm a little bit tired. I've had some sleeping issues in the past night, so I might mess up here and there. Yeah, apparently Ikaru also tells us here that his internet seemed to have had a hiccup during this race, so... Just gonna check that out. Meanwhile, a couple useful things. We have this nice little triple link. If you want any information on when matches are scheduled, if you want to see the VODs of any race again, or if you want to see what the current bracket looks like, then you can find them on those links posted by the Speed Gaming bot. Also, you might want to follow the runners. There's me on commentary, and of course you should always follow and praise all the Speed Gaming channels and Speed Gaming crew people, because they do so much work, not only for this tournament, for a lot of others as well. Like restreaming right now. So as I said before, there are actually a couple tutorials out there for people who would be interested in learning this game. I'm pretty sure that on the MMX Discord you can find a couple of them. Just gonna take a quick look if they're linked. Our wiki is linked in the practice ROM, but I do not see the tutorials straight away. In any case, if you were interested in learning this game or running this game, I suggest that you tag any of our community members and get our Discord. There's quite a lot of people in there, I believe, who I don't even know. Let's see, we have well over 200 people on the Discord. I'm pretty sure not everyone's an active runner, but there's definitely tons and tons of people on there who would be able to help you get started on the game, because they actually play or they watch the game all the time, and they just know a lot of things and can help you out and help you get started. or X Community is also a Discord that is not only for X1 but also for the entire series up to X8. It also has channels for Maverick Hunter X, Command Mission, and Extreme. Yeah, you can in fact play it on emulator. I saw earlier that Ikaru plays on emulator. There's quite a lot of people that play on emulator, so it's definitely friendly. There are certain emulators that are not allowed to be used, but you can find information on that pretty easily. I believe most people will use the SNES 9X version 1.55 or something like that, or 1.54, something like that area. And yes, there is in fact also the Mega Man X PC version. If you're a fan of absolutely fantastic music, I think you should go and check out that one. Also, our runners will be going in a second. You have the PC version. I think that just for that I will go to church and light a candle for you, my boy. I've seen people run the PC version. Although, I have to say... You know, actually I'm gonna say that for people who like this game, and you've always seen the Super Nintendo version of this game, if you get a chance to see someone play the PC version, there are a couple people in our community that did speedruns of it. It's a treat. You won't want to watch it for very long, but it's an experience. I'll put it like that. Meanwhile, race 2 has started, both of our runners back into the intro. We see that so far we have no accidents, and considering that our first bees were generous on the patterns, both runners will get through just fine. 2-stop must be extremely happy with that one, because he's already 1 minute ahead of his previous race. However, I should not say anything because we're not out of the intro just yet. You never know. But it looks like both our runners are doing just fine, having no issues with this whatsoever. It's Fire Wave! Well, that is Maverick Hunter X, in fact. This little ship that you see above you that drops off the cars is actually one that should look familiar if you check it out later in the game. You see that yellow circle, and that is actually Storm Eagle's ship that drops off right here. This game is quite full of fun facts, just, yeah. Oh, look at that. Oh, pretty much synced grabs there. It's a miracle. I have seen so many synced screens today and yesterday in the races that I don't even know what to make out of it anymore. Serbirold, I missed that question, but yes, there are gameplay differences between the SNES and PC version, because I believe that the PC version plays a lot faster, and it has like no lag. Gap jumps are pretty difficult in the SNES version. PC version is completely free. There's also the music, especially the music. The music's just fantastic in that version. And indeed, sync, boys. Trogdor, actually, I think you and Chalkman yesterday gave a good example of a synced race, and these two must have seen it because they're doing the exact same thing. I'm not sure it plays faster than the 60 FPS, but it's graphically, I believe, a bit different. Honestly, you should probably Google it. Rockman X is simply the Japanese version, so it means that you will have Japanese text instead of English. But there are no actual gameplay difference between the two games. And we do actually know how to convert the time from English to GP, in case people want that. There was recently a runner that got a 40-minute and what was it, 1 second PB, and he was like, "God damn it, I wanted that sub 40." And I was like, "Well, I mean, congrats, because you guys." Like, "No, I didn't." I was like, "But you play on the US card, so technically you have like what, 3950 or something like that." So back to Penguin, Mr. RNG Bird number 1. You don't want him to slide, you preferably have him jumping around or shooting some ice blocks around. Not ice blocks, just creating statues. Doublestop getting a 52 kill, that's actually a pretty good Penguin time. And a 58 kill for Ikari, also very good. Definitely good kill times for a race. And that means that Doublestop takes a little bit of a lead. Not too much, just a little bit. And there we go, off to Quanger stage. Well, because the Japanese version is faster than the speed game, I guess. Some people do play on the Mega Man X version because they play on console, and they might not have access to a Japanese card. That is why we do have the time conversion, but yeah. Oh. You stop doing the turtle skip just nicely. Carry maneuvering the lasers. Doublestop here actually abuses the glitch on the elevator. If you wall jump onto those spikes on the side, you take no damage. I'm not exactly sure why that is, but it's there. If you would just walk into those spikes, you would still take a whole ton of damage. I think like 8 damage or something. That's really a lot. But if you wall kick into them, nothing really happens. You take damage in terms of animation, but nothing changes to your health bar. And then the vertical Wanger stage here. Outside climb going on. Stop getting through nicely. Indoor climb. Ooh. Jump to that ledge, but didn't actually get onto it. And gets a little extra HP right before the boss door, meaning that he should be in a very, very good position to take on Kuwanger himself. And Ikeru, not too far behind him, gets a really laggy final end on this climb here. And Doublestop puts on his dancing shoes. So Kuwanger at the start of the fight, if you dash towards him, he will try to grab you. And after this grabbing animation starts, you can simply jump up and fire a shot at him. And then he will just attempt to grab you again and again and again and again. Until he decides that it's time to stop doing that, and he just feels like teleporting around a bunch. Alternatively, he might get out of that pattern early. If you actually jump too early to dodge the grab, then he will just cancel his streak of grabs and just dash right into your face or something else that's pretty stupid. Anything that's not cooperative, for sure. The card's expensive. Oh. Well, I mean, depending on where you live, cards can be pretty expensive. I'm not sure what they cost in the US, but I know I live in Europe, and if you want to buy a PAL card, which is obviously slower, you know, it's like 75 euros for X1 where I live. But JP cards are manageable, I believe, at about 30 euros a piece. I'm not really sure about the English versions or the US cards. Well, I mean, Ikaru does go for the armor again, but you do need to think that runners still need to see what they're comfortable with. And we do have to say, he knows why he's taking this. I said in game 1 as well, at some point, there was the vile fight for Ikaru. If he would not have had the armor, he would have died. I promise you, having 50% damage reduction, open your ears, 50% damage reduction for Mega Man is huge. That means that you can take twice as many hits as you could before. And especially in the later game, that is just a really big deal. And if you're not all that practiced with some things yet in the late game, that can be a really big deal to have this armor with you. And yes, it does cost a lot of time, but you also need to think, if you do not die on Final Sigma because you have this armor, and 2-Stop actually dies on Sigma with like 1 hit to go, then there is a good chance that Ikaru takes the race because of that. Ah, 2-Stop with the death kick! Except I've said this one before, but it was a whole lot of that and no kick, to quote myself. So as we said, race number 1, death kick saves you 20 frames if executed properly. However, it's a pretty tight jump to make, and if you miss it, there goes 30 seconds right out the window. So that actually makes up a lot of time, because that death is right in front of the checkpoint in Eagle stage. But there we go, second try he gets it. Now a lot of top tier runners do see that kick as like the thing, like that you're not gonna back out of in runs. I'm not sure if Colonel Fatu is still in the chat. He was also the only runner at the AGDQ that actually performed the death kick and executed it nicely without failure on the big stage. But it's pretty scary, and it's a very, very risky trade-off. So, Eagle, what do you have for Doublestop today? Tornado? Wings flapping around? No dives. No dives, no sir. No dives today. Colonel Death Kick. Just one of its many, many names. And Ikaru goes for the sub-tank. Wants to have a little bit of extra safety. Ooh! He actually went under that one platform, and it looked kind of like he bonked his head for a second and was scared that he could have some issues with that. But he did not fall down. Eagle let him win. Dang it, Eagle, why you have to do that? You're not supposed to give people a lead. You're supposed to screw them over. Both. Blow them off your ship. And you see on the bottom left there from Ikaru, you see that little yellow circle that I mentioned in the intro? That this is Eagle ship dropping off file. The little platform that you enter this ship on as you go up on the bottom. That little platform on the bottom you have to get on is actually the platform file jumps off of in the intro. Oh wow, and Ikaru gets max dives. This guy's gotta be mad. That's like one of the worst feelings, when you feel like you're doing okay and then like Eagle starts diving straight away and you get max dives. That's so annoying. Meanwhile, 2-Stop on his way to his arch enemy. Big old mandrel. And here as oh yeah, Mammoth, yeah. For some reason I thought Ikaru went to manual, but I'm wrong. Yeah, at its full RNG, Eagle can actually do that. He will usually not start the fight with straight dives, but it can happen. A pretty clean fight there for 2-stop. I don't think I saw Manuel even attempt to punch, or I'm blind. That could be it too. Meaning that he gets going pretty nicely, and he will now go to Mammoth 6th, as Ikaru does it 5th, and follow Manuel. So they basically swap these two stages around. Other than that, their route is completely the same. And now we see both runners on the same stage. Oh gosh, Ikaru must be ahead. Don't be fooled, they're actually the other way around. Doublestop is in fact winning this race. Yeah, beautiful. So could be. Excuse me, had a little bit of an interruption here. Someone barged into my room. Uninvited. So Mammoth went down for Ikaru. He will now be moving on to Mandrill. And Doublestop enters the Mammoth stage. Sorry, not the stage. Final room instead. Boss room. So right now Doublestop is pretty much an entire stage ahead, and Mandrill is also not the easiest of stages. It's, I believe, a bit longer than the average. Although I'd have to look at the exact times, but I can get you those stats actually pretty easily. If I know where my splits are at. Take a quick look. Let's see, Mandrill. Yeah, is in fact a stage that's a bit longer than the average of most stages. Most stages are done within 2 minutes or at about 2 minutes. Mandrill taking in at about 10-12 seconds more than that. Doublestop with a lot of action going on that minecart, right? Actually, I wonder how much practice he put in just to be able to show that. And meanwhile, he tried to pick up the art in manual stage, but did not actually get it. And Doublestop here, you see that he uses this speed from the minecart and then hovers in the air and then presses right, because all of his directional speed is going to the right. And then as soon as he presses right again, because his speed is going in that direction, then he catches up really quickly. Now let me reset towards some proper setup here, because for a second I had a lot of things popping up all at the same time. Doublestop gets a little bit of a roll, but nothing too bad. And Dillo going down. So we're, as you can see, a stage between the two of them. Dillo exploding on your right, and Ikaru just popping in here at the start of the stage. So I guess we have, what is it, about 2 minutes between the two of these guys right now. To make an estimate on it. And with that, Doublestop moves towards his final boss in the 8 Mavs. submarines going down. With Sea Sting, it's actually really easy. It's one of the improvements also recently made in 100%. Sea Sting is very easy to kill these submarines with. And Ikaru on your left really does want that help tank. So this is a second boomerang throw at it. And now enters the below door. Uteborus was barely to be seen there, but goes down pretty quickly. What costs Ikaru time? Honestly, I don't think anything in particular cost him a ton of time, unless I'm really forgetting something here. But it's really that there is a bit of a time difference in the PBs between Doublestop and Ikaru. That might actually be showing through a bit here. And honestly, a lot of your time that you do not make in this game is very often going to be just optimizations. And the fact that he picked up the armor, thank you Booba. Because like I said, I'm a little bit sleepy right now, so yeah, things like that slip away from my mind. Excuse me. And indeed, he picked up the armor in the chameleon stage, which easily cost him like a minute of time. So he would be halfway through the through the octopus stage by now, if he would have not picked up the armor in the chameleon stage. But yeah, that's just how it is. He wants to have late game insurance. And does of course pay a price early for that. Doublestop making his way in through the fortress. Helmet upgrade is located halfway to the eagle stage after platform section. Spoilers! Excuse me everybody for ruining your experience here. Oh, Ikaru, wow, that was actually really cool. He looked like he slid over the entire gap there. It was pretty cool. And 2-stop looking for the vial skip. And gets it just nicely, gets the quick skip. With that, Ikaru arrives at this final boss for the 8 mass, being Octopus. And you saw there, Doublestop took one bonk from Vial, and that cost him like literally half of his HP. And Ikaru has not a very kind RNG. From Octopus. But does kill him at exactly 22 minutes. Oh, Quanger skip. Oh, no drop for 2-stop. Where does the armor begin to pay off? Well, technically, as soon as you get it, it's gonna help you. Like, anything that can hit you is gonna deal only half damage. But in most of the 8 mass, people do not struggle too much. So it's honestly mostly for Final Sigma that people want it. But honestly, anywhere in the actual fortress, it's gonna be helpful. Since the bosses... as soon as you get to Vial, simply hurt that much. The only thing that you do have a little bit is, like, you see Ikaru here has the damage boost on this blue guy, and he takes, of course, a little bit longer than someone else would, because he has that armor. Because otherwise, if you would play at a complete low percent, like Doublestop does, then you don't actually even need to stop there to take extra damage. And yeah, also that if Ikaru ever gets the less than half HP, the armor paid off. The commentary just pre-recorded. That would be pretty good. Yeah, Octofight is also pretty tough, and I mean, if you generally struggle with some of the 8-map fights, then it can just be good for you. This game's from the early 90s, yes. And some people just really enjoy playing retro games, you know. Good nostalgia, pretty amazing. All of them good old pixels. Remember the days where the best graphics were those, like, oh my god, it's so realistic, and your entire face is just like a pile of cubes stacked on top of each other, like Lego bricks. Gotta love that. Ikaru making the climb to Kuwanger, his first refight for race number 2. And Doublestop meanwhile finishes off Penguin, so still quite a ways apart between these two. I'm not sure exactly how much time will be between the two of them, but I'm just gonna assume it's still like 2 minutes. Since I did not take a timer anywhere. I suppose we could try to time in and Pranga perhaps. Eagle giving some dives to 2-star. Oh no, just one. And then he misses the final hit, just once. Ikaru looking to redeem himself a little bit on Spider. Had a little bit of issues with it in game number 1. Race number 1. And he actually does a much cleaner job this time than he had in race 1. Definitely doing a really good job now. Meanwhile, Doublestop going in on Ranga. So actually the entirety of SIG 2 between these two runners. Let me take a quick look here. I actually have splits from Energy Exam, who is, I believe, the top 2 or 3 time right now in any percent, so it's a little bit biased, but he splits the sum of best of 2.5 minutes. So let's say there's 2.5 minutes between the two runners. As the Ikaru jumps in a pit, so let's now make it maybe 3 minutes. Well, okay, anyway. Yeah, they can look at each other's gameplay if they want to. It's not like it makes a difference. You have to play the game as it is anyway. It's not like there is a randomizer here where you could pick up secrets, like, oh my god, this item is there, I should probably run there now. That is obviously not okay. Like, this game is completely set in stone, like nothing's going to change. It's always the same, so it doesn't really matter. Manual there. As you can see, there are always 2 hits going on. If you listen into the sound of the hits, then you can see 2-stop always. You'll see and or hear. There's always 2 hits going on per free cycle. Yeah, the way that people defeat bosses is actually really important in this game, because something that I've personally noticed with a lot of new people playing Mega Max is that they, well, lose a lot of time still in fighting these bosses. For example, the flashing animation that you see on the bosses is always going to take longer than the actual iframes are lasting, so you can hit bosses a lot sooner than you think. And it gets even a little bit more ridiculous here and there, because you obviously look like Hikaru here now has to deal with the Ragnar nose. He actually does not one-cycle it. Like, one-cycling the nose is something that takes you some practice, stuff like that. And then you also have bosses that have a lot of RNG, like Penguin, for example. Yeah, Penguin is full RNG, and the entire boss is he decides on an RNG and you react to it, so it can be really difficult to optimize some fights. But generally speaking, especially if anyone is watching right now that is a new run, that only started like recently, perhaps because of seeing the tournament, take a look at how people fight the bosses, like the top tier ones, and oh, Dilla skip didn't go through for Hikaru. And take a look at how you deal with the bosses, because I can bet you right now that you're gonna see that you could be gaining a lot of time just from shooting them a little bit faster. You will easily catch up like 5 to 10 seconds on every boss. Okay, well, at least he didn't get 20 seconds of rolling to go with that. So, Doublestop with that, onto his final climb to Sigma. Takes one hit from the dog. Taking one hit from the dog actually means that he could get one-shotted by the lightning at the end. The claws lightning does 12 damage, and I believe right now he has about 8, something like that. Hikaru, meanwhile, on his way through Sigma 3 is not really that extremely far behind if you want to think about it. In case that anything happens to 2-stop here, Hikaru still has a good chance of picking up for a game 3. Gets knocked off the wall there. You can see Hikaru takes almost no damage if anything happens to him because of the armor. Ooh, the right claw almost pushing into that lightning. Luckily it didn't move up. Ooh. Yeah, claws are not being kind to 2-stop, but he's dealing with it nicely and clocks in and finishes this race with an official race ball time of 32:29. He did not get that for free right there at the end. The clock can't always decide who wins and loses, and believe me, it's not easy to navigate through those claws sometimes. You can get really bad RNG. There are in fact situations where you will have lightning being shot from right under your butt, while the right claw is coming over, trying to push you to the side, and it's almost impossible to really react properly in time as you're trying to see what's going on and how you have to react. And there are really situations where even the top runners say like, okay, in hindsight I should have done this or that, but in the moment itself you're trying to finish a run, you're in a race, you're a bit nervous, and yeah, it's really easy to not see it at that time what you have to do. deeming it almost impossible to just get out of some situations. Yeah, if only Mega Man teleported right to Sigma. Why do we have to go through all of this crap? Just go straight to the boss and just kill this guy. Yeah, and you can beat this game in about half an hour time. It's a bit more. Currently, the Any percent world record is 31 minutes and 13 seconds, and the 100% tournament 100% world record is at 35 minutes and 1 second. So there are actually people in Any percent. I believe currently Akiteru, NRG Zam, and I believe there was one other person. No, I actually think just those two right now are actually really wanting to get the 30 now, the 30XX time, and in 100% we do have Walrus Prime, possibly Bob on him, and Luis Miguel going for 34 this year. And now let's see. Ikaru is on his final Sigma 4. Oh, takes a little hit there. No big deal. He did take the armor for this. You see, he's like at almost half of his HP now. Imagine if he wouldn't have had the armor. Just to point out, as someone asked it earlier, if he would not have taken the armor right now, he would have been at like 3-4 HP, and one single hit from Jedi would be killing him. Right now he can still take a hit from Jedi, but given what I saw in his earlier races, and actually given everything I've seen from Ikaru, I don't think he's gonna have issues with Jedi at all. Except that he's missing a couple shots, but other than that, he's not taking any hits. Oh, look at that. Jedi just dash into... Just see this part, looks like, oh, I could kill myself here. Whee! Double's first run timing was 33:57. So, Ikaru, let's see, what does he get? Claw lets him up, that's very kind. Claw does fire some lightning, gives him a little boost. That's a pretty kind left claw. Oh, pops for a little drop down there for safety. Oh, calm down there, calm down. Alright, nothing's going wrong, better. There we go. Final hit, and Ikaru clocks in for his second race at 37:08. I'm not sure about the task run timing. I'm sure it will be time of below 30 or something like that. So let's see if our runners want to have a short talk. I'm not sure how much time we have according to the amazing speed gaming schedule, but sure I can take a quick look at that. Oh, actually, I don't think there's anything going on right now after this. Doublestop will be coming in. I'm not sure about the carrier. Oh, okay, yeah, we'll be joining us. Now I just need to find the right Discord. Wait for these people to show up. If you do have any special questions for them, you might want to throw them in the chat now. There we go. Hello, Doublestop.
Hello.
How do you feel? You didn't game over to Mandrill today.
Yeah. Feels good to not game over to Mandrill.
Yeah, exactly. So, having a little bit of issues with the intro today. I was a little bit of a fortunate start there in race number 1.
Yeah, it happens. I don't want to like make excuses, but I was just out shoveling snow before that, so my hands are pretty cold. Mashing is not on point.
Yeah, yeah. I actually saw that you were pretty low HP, and was like, I'm gonna do the the one bonk strat on the second B, and I immediately had to think back of Walrus last year AGDQ. I was like, oh boy, I hope this works out. And then I saw the B wasn't moving forward. I was like, well, he's a goner. So that was a bit unfortunate, but yeah. Other than that, you caught up pretty quickly, and I see that you're still implementing a lot of swag strats to entertain everyone. Had some new card strats there I saw in Dillo, where you just abused that speed boost from the cart.
Yeah, that's one that I was trying to do before, but I kept like messing up bonking one of the bats and falling off the cart.
Yeah.
It looks pretty cool. I got it in the second run.
Yeah, it was pretty nice to see. Trying to think of what other stuff you did that I saw you pull off here and there, but oh yeah, you didn't get any Coanger skips today. Unfortunate.
Yeah, no drops.
Yeah, I saw you going for it every time, but unfortunately no drops. Also, congratulations on your damageless spider. Asked everyone to tweet about it. Are you proud?
Oh, man. In that first run, I got babies like the last hit, and I was like, man, I should just take damage just so people don't say damage the spider.
Oh well. Well, we have to forge the iron while it's still hot, right? I see Keru is not showing up here even. Not really sure. I thought it was gonna pop in, but
he might not have like permission to join. I think that happened to me last time.
Oh, well, normally you should be able to get into Discord and I drag him in. Or perhaps he just left, I don't know. Someone here is asking where you got your name from.
Yeah, just ignore that guy, he's an idiot.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess you know him then. Alright, well. So actually this moves you forward to round number 2. The winner of race match number 11, which was yesterday. The Strogdor, he will be your next opponent. How are you looking forward to that matchup?
If I play like pretty well like I was in the second run, I don't think I should have any problems. Strogdor is like a good X runner in general, so I don't know, like if I mess up and die in Sigma or something, I'll probably lose a race.
Yeah, Trogdor does have quite a lot of experience in the X games as well, so definitely you do have to be a little bit careful. Perhaps not swag it up too hard. Be careful with the death kicks as well. Yeah,
I might have to drop the death kicks. Because he's been getting like consistent 33s, so if I make like if I die in Sigma or death kick, it'll be really close.
Yeah, definitely need to watch out for that. And looking a little bit further, but that's still a ways off. I need to play Gerber tomorrow, and then either him or I needs to play Nero. So I'm just gonna be a Nero fanboy and say that after that it's Nero. So let's say that in 2 races from now you gotta play Nero. Easy too.
I don't know, man. You might curse Nero too.
Oh, sure. I'll just bob both in him. Right. Almost forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, against Nero, I'm definitely going to do safe strats because he doesn't do anything risky and gets like low 32s consistently.
Yeah, Nero is very good at consistent gameplay and actually figuring out some safety strats for himself where he thinks that there is need for them. So definitely a tough opponent.
Yeah, that should be a good race.
Yep, definitely will be. I'm just gonna take a quick look. I believe upcoming matches, some are still not scheduled for this week. Tomorrow there will be another X1 race between me and Gerber. but there will still be about 5 or 6 races going on over the course of the week before Sunday, or until Sunday. So anyone that wants to watch more X1, definitely keep your eye on the channel. We will be back. With that, I'm just gonna plug all of these links again. If you want to check everything from the tournament, you can check the challenge right over there with the schedules of the matches and the VODs if you want to look back. You might want to follow the runners by the Gary and Doublestop for putting on a show today. There's me, whatever. And then there's the actual schedule for speed gaming, which is always the most interesting one, because there you can see everything that goes on. And I'm not sure if there's still anything being ran right now. I'm gonna quickly take a look. No, I do not think Speed Game has anything else running right now. But keep your eye on the schedule. I'm sure they will bring you some content soon, or some extra VODs. With that, thanks Doublestop for dropping by. Good luck on your next race. And thanks everyone for stopping by to watch our race and our tournament. Anyone that's interested in passing by our community, since there was some interest about the run and strats and whatnot, feel free to pop in on the MMX Discord. If you do not have a link or want a link, you are free to PM me on Ragnar Blood Rage there in chat for a link to the Discord that will happily invite you. If you want to learn the game, we can definitely assist you, get you some tutorials and whatnot, and a link to the wiki, or just some personal assistance, as you wish. With that, I'm gonna head out. Thanks for stopping by, everyone, and have a good night. See you tomorrow.
See ya.